Welcome to GNT, your one-stop shop for gaming news and whatever else we want to talk about. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon.
All right, today we're going to start with, previously Atlas had been, I think it had said no streaming or recording Persona 5, but they have loosened the restrictions. Their post said that they hoped the previous guidelines would limit online spoilers for fans who have yet to play the game. But I guess they received a lot of negative feedback and listened to the fans and decided to loosen the restrictions. They're still asking, however, that players not stream or post video past the in-game date of 11/19 November 19th, when the story gears up for the final act. They recognize that they wouldn't be where they are without the fans and want to make it right for them. So, I mean, I've said this before, I'm always happy to see game makers listening to fans and making changes like these to help them out.
Yeah, it's a catch-22 though, because you're right, they wouldn't be there without the people, streaming the game and stuff. But at the same time, in an RPG like this, it's all about the story. So, yeah, I like to watch the occasional stream from time to time, but the problem for me is that I don't want the story spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, it's kind of like I don't want the story spoiled. I want to be able to look at like the message boards and kind of see people talking about it without spoiling it and stuff. And and it's one of those things where I get both sides of the argument.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, playing an RPG, it's all about the story. I mean, gameplay is important too. Obviously, I like the turn-based combat of Persona 5, so that's important. But story, and there has been some criticism on the story of this game about how it's kind of, anime-ish and teenage punkish and all that. And I get it, but it's not so much. It is a little bit of the context, but it's more of, it's very rich story. Good, bad, whatever. There's a lot of meat there for you to bite into and really get to the nitty-gritty of, the story. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it is anime-ish, and I think this is kind of something that people who don't watch anime kind of think that since it's cartoony, it's not very serious, but there's some very serious moments.
Oh, yeah, the topics are serious, and they're not, there's parts of the game that are far out, but it's very grounded in reality.
Yeah.
There are very, even the whole system of the game, living your day by day and having to choose what you want to do and knowing that there's importance. And that's what makes the game, I think, very unique. And the fact that, each day you have important decisions that may not seem important. You think, God, I just want to do dungeons. But at the end of the day, I find myself looking at a lot of, looking at the things and thinking, okay, what do I want to do today? Because it's important that you get certain things accomplished because of the fact that, you need that money to buy the weapons and armor. You need to get your skills up so you can do this stuff. And I really got to a point, without spoiling too much, but, that I really had to develop my social skills because there were some things that I wanted to do that hadn't opened up. And then there are some things that that you get suggested and said, hey, you got to look for this certain social skill. Well, yeah, the problem with that is that it's too early in the game for that to happen for some of the stuff. So, it's really neat how they've incorporated that. And for me, like I said, I've always been a fan of the JRPG, and I started with Wild Arms and Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy 15 is cool, but the combat system just is too action based and it's too chaotic. And I know there's a wait mode, but that's not how they intended the game to be played. And I really, in a game like that, I really would like to try to play it as it's intended to be played. But it just, I don't know. I'm sure. Maybe it's just me that I can't get the combat down right. but and that might be good to the fact that I like the turn-based combat where it's kind of like, okay, what am I going to do strategically? Not rushed, okay, because going back to the Final Fantasy games, there were some Final Fantasy games where they had an active time meter where you basically had a limited amount of time to make your decisions, so they were kind of forced, so you couldn't just stop and really, okay, what am I going to do in this battle? You know? No, it kind of made the battle progress. So, you know, I mean, overall, I think, like I said, this is one of those things where I think that they just tried to respect the players' right not to have a game spoiled. You know, if they wanted to watch people play and, you know, and there was a lot of content out there shown, and for me, there was enough shown to justify getting the game and, hell, getting a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, like I said, I see both sides to the argument, but for me, I am not going to, if I get on Twitch, I'm not going to go and try to watch Persona 5 because I know that if I watch it, I'm going to see things that are to come, and I want that to be a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Being that it's such a story-driven game.
Right.
You know? So.
And then we had Call of Duty World War II trailer drop. Is that yesterday or Tuesday?
I think it was Tuesday.
Tuesday? I mean, to me it looks good. They're bringing back those Nazi zombies, which I was never a huge fan of. They're going to have a war mode, which lets players fight historic battles, which I think is really cool. I mean, it kind of takes me back to Battlefield 1942, which is one of my favorites because you can do these battles and, you know, fight real people. And in that game, you could fight bots, which was awesome. But Call of Duty will be released November 3rd. And I thought I'd do a little new segment where we read off, called The People Speak, where we read comments from the Call of Duty video. Pro Pete HD said, "The first COD I'm so hyped for in years. Good job." Pernam Bucko LR, that is the real Call of Duty. Nick Purda, the M1 Garland, which I think he meant M1 Garand. Reload sound turns me on. Which, I mean, it might be a little extreme, but I get what you mean. They did have like the same exact sound from Call of Duty 2, the M1 Grand reloading at the end of the trailer, which was really cool. So, Whippybox GRHD said they'll still find a way to make it trash.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, we'll see. Gmod said, "I think COD just won back their lost fan base from Battlefield. I might be one of them. I could see some of that happening too." Rayman said, "What the F is this? We want jetpacks and futuristic stuff. I don't want this BS." Just kidding. F jetpacks.
Whoa. I still think they have an opportunity to incorporate jetpacks and change history. So
maybe they will. Maybe you'll time travel back in time to World War II and you'll have a jetpack.
Yeah, they're gonna have a certain twist on it. It's just gonna ruin it. They're not gonna show it till people buy it, and then you're gonna be like, "What the hell is this?" It's gonna be like, you know,
psych.
Yeah. We're never leaving the future.
Then the last one, Burleton01, Hitler has saved COD.
No, I think the future's gonna save COD. Like I said, I think that they're gonna make it so it comes back to the future.
Maybe the trailer was pretty dramatic. I mean, I liked it. We'll see how the game is, but
to be honest, I didn't watch the trailer. I saw some of the screenshots and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, like I said before, you need to stick with a thing and, you know, run with it. Where they've, with all three studios and doing the juggling act and changing and going to the future, going back to the past. I mean, and Battlefield's guilty of the same thing too.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So, for me, it's kind of like I think Battlefield did a good job of doing the modern combat and with the tanks and the different locales and stuff. I think if they had just put, you know, if they had come up with some neat maps and stuff and still carried on with the modern theme, I think that'd have been great. You know, maybe expanded it a little bit more to, you know, maybe higher player counts or, you know, there's a number of ways that they could have improved that, which I think they would have gotten more people to buy into that than with the Battlefield 1. You know.
Yeah, maybe.
But, you know, like I said, once again, there's people that get paid a lot more than me to make decisions to justify the making of a multi-million-dollar game, and you know, I don't know. You know, at the end of the day, we've seen Call of Duty, which Call of Duty does okay. You know, sometimes they do great, but and that's given, and I think Battlefield's a little more fragile. I want to say that they're not as consistent as the Call of Duties. Yeah. And for them, I think that was a big gamble going to Battlefield 1 or to World War 1. I don't know that it paid off for them. So it's one of those things where I just think they really need to find a niche and stick with it.
Yeah, it's tough because even if you have a good thing, you keep doing it. I mean, they're going to people be like, okay, this is boring, do something else. And you do something else, and then, you know, people get mad, and they say, this sucks, you know, we want the old thing. So it's like...
Well, I think there's a fine line.
Yeah.
And there's a happy medium where you can make a game good by upgrading it and really listening to the players. I mean, you know, if you had that higher player count, or if you had, you know, better handling vehicles, like I know... criticism, there's always been a lot of criticism on some of how the vehicles operate and stuff, so try to tweak that, you know what I mean? Try to work on that. Try to work on, like, you know, in those games, why not bring in a cover system, you know? That would really liven things up.
Shake things up,
you know, where, you know, you pop out into like a third person view to, you know, and this is all in the realm of possibility. I mean, come on. So I think that there's, you know, a lot of room there to try to tweak the game, and I think that, you know, they try to do these fresh ideas and hope one of them does good, and you know, and sometimes it does. I mean, Black Ops 3 was good, and it was in the future, and it did really well. But then you had what was the list? Not Modern Warfare or Future Warfare?
Advanced Warfare.
What? Advanced? No, it was Infinite.
Infinite Warfare was the newest one.
Yeah, Infinite Warfare. I mean, there they tried the future again, but like I said, for me, that glitch, you know, my experience, that glitch ruined it for me. And, you know, even if I would have watched the video for this World War II one and really liked it, it's hard for me to get on the hype train.
Yeah, I agree.
Given, and here's the worst part about it is it's not the studio that's making this game's fault. It's whoever, Infinity Ward, because Infinity Ward made Infinite Warfare, so it's Infinity Ward's fault for fucking it up for the next guy, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, what the hell? It's like, you know, and unfortunately with these Call of Duty games, that's the nature of the beast. The previous year developer can make or break your game. So the game that you've been working on, and now with the current rotation, so I'd say you're working on a game for what, 2 years? So
yeah.
You make a game.
3 years?
Yeah, roughly 3 years. Yeah. So that's even worse. You're working on a game for 3 years, and then they screw it up. You know, the game before it sucks, so that makes players hesitant to play the next one, even though the person that made it has nothing to do with it. It's one of those things where I don't know. Call of Duties need to get their shit straight. Battlefield, like I said, I think Battlefield's or Call of Duty's more forgiving. Battlefield, I think that, you know, they tried the future thing and they realized that didn't work, but going back I don't think was necessarily the right way to go, but that's my opinion. I think they should have just tweaked, you know, and maybe they are working on tweaking that, and so maybe like the World War I thing was kind of a break, and then now whenever they come back with all these additions to what they can do with, you know, the current generation of warfare, maybe it'll be enough to really, you know, make it a huge success this year. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. Like, are we going to get into a pattern of doing old war games, bring up to the new ones, do a futuristic one that sucks, and then go back to old one and do the current one?
That would seem to, that would be, well, at least they'd be in a consistent as far as, okay, what's this year going to be? Oh, it's going to be future. It sucks. Let it go. And make sure you give that future to the, you know, I don't know. It's just, like I said, with what they've got and what Battlefield's got, they really need to, like I said, find what makes players play their games, make it good.
Yeah.
Stick in a time frame. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there was an article from CNBC, and it was titled "How Free Hacking Tools on the Web Could Be Leading Kids into Cybercrime." And I saw this on I think it was on PC Gamer, and they really kind of tore it apart and really it's just one little part of the article that screws it up for me. And it starts with gaming websites could be spying a new breed of cyber criminals. Websites and forums which provide cheat codes and modifications for video games are making it increasingly easy for young people to develop criminal skills. And then the rest of the article isn't bad. I mean, it talks about how on the internet there are, you can find tutorials for like remote access Trojan malware programs and distributed denial of service DDoS attacks, which I believe, I'm sure you can find that stuff on the internet somewhere. And then that leads, young people into crime. But I don't know why they brought in if you use cheat codes or mods for video games, then that leads you to developing criminal skills.
It's a gateway.
Yeah.
It's a gateway drug.
Don't be modding Skyrim, because next thing you know, you'll be hacking
it's all funny games. You got Thomas the Train coming in and stuff.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're doing PCP in an alleyway trying to hack an ATM. It's just a gateway drug. People don't do it.
Do not mod
for
these cheat codes. I don't know. It just seems like stuff this.
I just use cheat codes every now and again, man. There's no harm.
Come on.
I'm not hurting anybody.
Use this Grand Theft Auto mod.
No.
Just do it.
No. Come on, all the kids are doing it.
All the cool kids are doing it.
Yeah.
No, but it seems like this happens with the media every once in a while. I don't know. I just have a feeling that a writer that hasn't played a video game somehow gets the idea to bring video games into a matter like this. Like, I don't know. I mean, looking at it from that aspect, it's completely ridiculous, but I don't know.
But then again, you got to look at it. But it's coming from the UK's National Crime Agency.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all right, maybe in the United Kingdom that's what happens.
Maybe.
But everywhere else, people just enjoy the game. I used this mod; it was fun. Now I'm gonna do 35 to life and Chino because I hacked some shit.
Yeah. As it also suggests that more than 1/3 would be impressed if a friend hacked a bank's website.
I'll tell you what, Nick. If you hack a bank's website, I'd be impressed.
I'll be honest. That's impressive. I mean, I'm not saying it's good or that you should do it, but I'd be impressed.
But I'd be more depressed if you're that stupid.
Yeah. Yes.
Obviously, in today's age, they're watching for this stuff, So, yeah, in a game, you can mod or you can cheat or you can whatever, and you might get banned from the game.
Yeah.
Some are a day ban, a week ban, a month ban, a rock ban, or perma ban. But that's a game. You paid money for that game. Hopefully, if you didn't hack and download it illegally. But, you paid money for that game, so if you want to possibly ruin your chance of playing the game, that's kind of your own gamble there. Is it worth it? I don't know. That's up to the person. But whenever you're talking about hacking and hacking into a bank, that's real life consequences. That's like you go to jail.
Yeah.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. I mean, your jig could be up. You
don't just get banned from the bank.
Yeah, that would be kind of neat. It didn't work this time, but
you're banned.
I just can't go back into PNC. I'm good. It's all good. Hey, that's how they should do it. Maybe but then that'd really promote hacking.
You just try another bank. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with that. And then another kind of serious matter. The FCC chairman, Ajit Pai, announced a proposal to rescind the net neutrality rules that were approved under the previous administration. And basically, just as a precursor, I'd like to read more into this. I don't completely understand these rules or everything that's involved, so I don't really want to say I have a definite position. But basically, from what I've read, these rules boil down to no blocking, no throttling, and no paid prioritization by internet service providers. So they can't block certain content from you. They can't throttle your speeds, or you can't pay to have prioritize speed. Internet Pioneer, and then the chairman now is trying to get rid of those rules. Internet Pioneer Tim Berners-Lee issued a statement outlining his position, and he disagrees with it. He said, "When I invented the web, I didn't have to ask anyone for permission, and neither did America's successful internet entrepreneurs. The internet must remain a permissionless space for creativity, innovation, and free expression," which I agree with completely. Many tech outfits are concerned about this proposal. Without these rules, high-speed service providers could potentially do things like add fees to companies like Netflix to avoid throttling traffic. So they would say, "Hey, we're gonna slow down your, the speed to stream through your service unless you pay us this fee." And then also there are companies like Comcast, which own streaming services and could use this to boost their own streaming service, which would be pretty shady. The other side of the argument is that these regulations hamstring ISPs from investing in new technologies. However, last week Verizon just announced a $1.05 billion fiber optic deal to grow its platform, so it doesn't really seem like they're struggling that much.
Well, it seems like it's set up to a way that people can use it and be fine, and people can't abuse it or try to limit the abuse. So I don't think that it should be, obviously there's many pros to cons, and once again, there's people and businesses that make a lot more than we do that, we're only getting the cliff notes essentially of this. And I think unless you are in the business or, a higher echelon of like in an internet service or whatever, you would truly understand the ramifications. We're just looking at this from kind of behind or back. So it's we could say, oh, that's bad and oh, that's good, but in the whole grand scheme of things, is it bad? Is it good? We don't know. Obviously it was set up for a reason, and I don't think it'll be easily thrown out. So
the one thing that kind of makes it seem like these rules are going in the right direction is you have this guy Tim Berners-Lee who basically created the web. You have a bunch of other tech outfits are saying, no, this would be bad for the internet. It would go in the wrong direction. And I almost didn't even put this up this week because, like I said, I just started reading about it an hour ago before the show. And but the proposal is being put to a vote May 18th. So, I just kind of want to put it out there and say, if you're interested, go read about it, figure stuff out for your own, maybe form an opinion. But yeah, it's kind of, a lot of times I feel like there are stuff happening in government, and we don't really see a direct effect, but I think this could be one of those things that...
Well, and to kind of fuel that fire, not to argue or anything, but like I said, once again, I think it's a lot deeper than what we can see, and even now, you can go online, and unfortunately, you can go online and you can read stuff, and sometimes it's opinionated. Obviously, that article we just were commenting on earlier was, it's online, you're doing research, you can say, oh my God, Billy's using, a parent could get online and say, oh, Billy's using cheat codes, he's going to be a hacker and locked up. It's all, knowledge is power, but you have to use knowledge, or you have to use that power responsibly. You have to make educated decisions and consider the source that you're reading that from. And once again, there's so much to this. I think that it's more than we can wrap our heads around and fully grasp the both sides of it.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's probably just so much to this that it's really not as black and white. I'm sure it's probably very gray. And I think that's probably where the problem lies, because, it being the way it is, there are pros to it, there are cons to it, and you need to figure out if it, like you said, if it is going in the right direction, and that would keep them inclined to keep it in place, or if it's going the wrong direction or if it's inhibiting, if you don't think that, certain things are going to happen or certain things that need to happen can happen because of it, then, it's one of those things where,
And it's tough because it's not even like you can say, well, if they get rid of these rules, this stuff will happen. It's like, we have no idea.
Right.
But
we don't know if anything would change.
Yeah,
on the surface.
Nothing might change.
Right. So.
But yeah, so it's tough. Especially, I mean, we get into the whole thing, but especially today, it's tough to know, reading stuff, especially on the internet. It's tough to know exactly how accurate it is, but
I mean, that is, unfortunately, that's the way it is with all news, and I don't want to, I don't want to take this
right
to a different level, but like I said, I'll just probably reiterate what I said earlier about it just being a very gray topic. Like most things out there are very gray, and there's a side to each of it, and some stuff isn't as gray as other stuff, but it's one of those things where I think that basically at the end of the day, that things happen that should happen, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out.
Yep. All right, back to fun stuff. Arkham VR came out for the Vive, and I got a chance to play it. I don't know, did you get a chance to come over?
Nah, I haven't tried it.
It is really cool. I mean, the story itself is probably one of the better stories in video games, but I mean, definitely in VR.
Really?
I mean, it's one of the stories where I played it the first time through, and no spoilers.
You've already beat it.
Yeah, it's relatively short story.
So how many hours?
Oh, no, not like, you could get through the whole story in hour and a half.
That's semi-disappointing.
It's short.
How much was it?
$20.
Okay. Well, see.
No, there's once you beat it once, there's a lot of other side content that you can do that I haven't. There's a lot of stuff to collect, like a lot of Enigma's boxes you can find all over the place, and characters to unlock. So there's more stuff, but the story itself is short. Well,
and I think, but here's the thing: you're paying $20 for a virtual experience, and we've played quite a few virtual games, some good, some bad, and paid a wide variety of prices, and I think that if you're getting a really good experience, $20 is easily justifiable. I mean, you pay nowadays you pay $10 for a 2-hour movie to go watch a 2-hour movie once. You pay $20 and you could play a 1 hour, an hour and a half VR experience countless times. So really, your value for money, and if you're a Batman fan, then really that's gonna be money well spent. I just, there's no ifs, ups, or buts about it, because the fact is that you really kind of get to become Batman. Not, you probably couldn't take a bullet, with like his Kevlar armor, or fight a knifed man. Or maybe you could. I don't know. I don't want to limit anybody here, but
no. That the one part I was a little disappointed in was the combat. There's really no combat. I mean, you throw a couple batarangs at people, but you don't really get to punch anyone, which I was kind of disappointed in. But no, like I said, I played it the first time through, and the ending was unexpected. And then it's one of those things where you go back through it again, and it's like, holy cow, it's in a totally different light based on stuff that happens. So I played through it twice the first night I got it just because of it. But
wow.
Yeah.
We might have to go up there and check it out.
Oh, yeah, you'll have to try it. But, yeah, to me, it was totally worth the $20.
Oh, well, then, it gets a thumbs up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't played it, but I want to play it. So I'm going to play it.
But, I mean, just from putting on the cowl itself to...
No, don't spoil it.
Okay, I won't spoil it. But
I wanted to get in the whole thing. But,
okay.
All right. So...
And then... you tried out the Necromancer.
Yeah, I had a little troubles getting into the beta yesterday. Kept coming up with an error code. Fired it up today and was able to get in there. And I only played for probably 10-15 minutes. But my initial thoughts were the Necromancer is pretty cool. I kind of liked his style. Once again, I really didn't get into the thick of it with him. But it got me interested in playing that game again, which there's a lot of replayability on that game, and it's one of those games where it's fun, but it's funner with more people. So, and I know that for like you and Mike and your dad, the repetitiveness of it, because the fact that you go through it and then you got to kind of go through it again. I mean, I did all the levels as far as going through all the different challenges and stuff, but that kind of thing kind of loses its appeal to some people. But for me, it's a fun game. It has, you know, that the style of gameplay is fun. So it for me, it's easily, you know, replayable. And I like that. I like the loot system. That really keeps me playing it. So
I mean, it's to the point now where I would easily play it again. I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's one of those games where, like I said, I'm gonna play the beta, and I'll probably have a better breakdown of it next week for you. As far as, you know, my real impressions once I get some levels into my Necromancer and flesh out some more abilities and stuff. I did get like a scythe attack that was pretty cool that I could see adding some different mods on to increase the range or increase the damage of it or paralyze enemies or something. You know, if I don't know what you can do, but I know that, you know, with the way that other spells worked and stuff with my wizard and my demon hunter and stuff, I'm pretty anxious to, you know, get to that point with my necromancer. So.
Yeah. I think this is the first week in a while we haven't seen a movie to review. We have Guardians coming out next week, which will be awesome. But
yeah,
I've been playing. Well, we played more Ghost Recon, which has been fun. Now I'm kind of focusing on taking down the bosses. There was a cool mission. His name was El Gato, which is cat, which kind of plays into the mission. But you go and kill him, and then you send it. It turns out it was a fake. So then you have to go to another base and kill him again. And then luckily that was the one that was dead. So then they say, "Oh, like this cat ran out of lives," which is. But that's been fun.
Yeah. I fired up the Division a little bit. I saw that they're talking about the public test server having some changes, and then the gear set that I currently like, which is Predator's Mark, might be becoming more powerful after the patch, which is good because it's actually a set that I've been using. Now, funny story is I was playing last night and jumped into a group. We were going to do Lexington, and you know, it was two of us started out. I don't know where the other two were. They were at the, you know, resupplying or something, but we went in, we started attacking. I went too aggressive. I went down. I got rezzed, and then I went over to the other side, and I got downed again, and then I got kicked. And I'm like, all right. So,
like the group kicked you?
Yeah, the leader kicked me. So okay. I thought, all right, you know, I get it. You know, I was getting, you know, anxious. So then I get in with another group, and they're almost at the end, which is basically what you play for, is because you get Larry Barrett's drops, and you get, you know, your cash if you level up, and you get the Phoenix credits and stuff. So I got into a group that was an end game and did well, and, you know, normally do. So, I mean, you know, the play style that I do now with this build I have is a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
And, you know, I understand it. You don't want to be rezzing people a lot, but I don't even think the leader was with us at that point. I think he just saw us starting and saw me go down a couple times and thought, screw this, I'm going to boot this guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever. I still like that game, and I can still play it a shit ton. So.
Oh, yeah, you're always going to have people like that. Especially, and I started playing CSGO again this week. And it's just it's tough for me because, well, I've been playing casual. I've been getting better. I want to get, you know, just good at it in general before I get into competitive. But it's the jump to competitive, it just seems so daunting because, it's a different. I mean, it's 5-on-5 instead of, you know, I forget what it is, 10-on-10 or something. And it's much more team oriented, a lot more communication. I mean, you have a shared economy instead of everyone having their own money like in casual. So you really have to play together, buy each other weapons and that kind of stuff. And there's just a lot to it that just makes it daunting, you know, jumping from casual to competitive, which I'd like to do eventually. But
well, I think it sounds like it's where if you get to a certain point where you're consistently good. I don't want to say I don't want to say average, but I want to say good. If you're your top 3, going in and out of rounds, then you know that going into like a 5-on-5 scenario that you're probably going to be able to provide for your team and carry your weight at least. You know what I mean? So it's not, if you're coming in like last or in the bottom 5, then obviously you're not doing it.
Right.
It's kind of like how in Titanfall I play hardpoint, and that's there's 3 points you can capture. Well, that's the name of the game. Capture the point, keep them amped, and how you keep them amped is by having someone stay at that point, and then it doubles the points that you get there after you've amped it up. Yeah. So for that game, it's not hard to be good or be a rock star, because if people are actually playing the game and playing the mode, then they're trying to capture those hard points. So I like to play defensively, and it's all my build and stuff. So people come, try to take the point. I kill them. I get kills. I get points for defending the area. I get, and then towards the end of the match, I'll jump in my Titan and try to do some work with my Titan, to either stop the ship from taking off or just to get some random kills. If we're doing really good, I'll hop in my Titan early. But
yeah,
and it's just like you gotta consider, you're not gonna win the game if you're just running and trying to kill people. You're not gonna win the game. And that's what too many people, it's funny because I don't know why people play that game mode and think that it's all about just killing people. You capture those points, you hold those points, you win. That's the name of that game, But so many people don't do that. So it's kind of like going back, I guess. I know that in that game, I carry my weight for my team because I understand the way the game works. So as long as you understand how the game works and are able to, like, I guess in Counter-Strike is, I don't know, are there different game modes, or is it basically just 10-on-10 deathmatch?
Well, I've been playing I forget what it's called, but one team plants a bomb and then the other team tries to...
I'm sorry, yes, that is the but they have to plant it in a certain area, so you kind of have to defend. Don't you have to defend that spot essentially?
Yeah, there are 2 spots in each map.
All right, so basically, if you see a bunch of people heading over to the one spot, if you go to the other spot and defend that spot even for a little bit, then you've contributed to the team.
Yeah.
So all right, so I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been getting better. I'm usually like around 3 or 4, and I'd like to do a little better, but yeah, I don't know. It just seems like that community, especially, people are quick to jump on you if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, I'm sure, and that makes it tough.
Yeah.
It does make it tough, and it makes it frustrating to play because, here's the thing. At the end of the day, you want to have a good time, and if people are ripping your shit, I mean, I know you're not gonna get better unless you play.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're also not gonna want to play if people are always ripping your shit. So.
And that's what I found a list on how to prepare for a competitive, and the last thing the guy said, he was like, and ignore the people that criticize you over every other thing, until you get in there and do it, you're not really gonna know the game.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. All right, so that's it. Check out our YouTube channel. Oh, I played through episode 1 of Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale game.
Oh.
And I'm actually uploading the first episode to our channel now at home, so you can see how that goes on our YouTube channel. It was rough at start, and part of it was because I went to record, got everything set up, and for some reason the software I usually use to record wouldn't work with Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I would have it up, and then I would start Guardians, and it would just crash every time. And it took me, I kept researching why I was doing that. I couldn't figure it out, and eventually I just switched over to OBS, which we use for this, and it records fine. I'll probably just use it from now on. But at that point, I was frustrated, and I still recorded at the beginning of the episode. I was just so frustrated because the first level I couldn't figure out what to do, and I was so mad. But anyway, it was fun though. But yeah, check that out. All right, and we'll see you next time.